Hey you guys, welcome back to The Gold and the Grit. I'm your host, Ann Christian. Today I have the honor of having an amazing gal on the podcast named Sam Moulding. She is a fifth generation Montanan. If I could describe her, I would say she's a tough gal with a tender heart. She is a realtor here in the state of Montana. She's a barrel racer and a barrel racer instructor. She has gained a lot of popularity on Instagram under her handle Stay Gritty, which is pretty cool. And on that Instagram, she shares some encouragement, bits of hope, and then she also encourages people not to be, as she says, a sissy, which I love. Today we have the honor of hearing her story, hearing about her life, her faith, just little things God's been teaching her, things she's learned along the way. And before we get into the questions, I'd love to know, just in your own opinion, Sam, tell our audience just about yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. And truly, I love Jesus, I love people, I love good horses, and I love to hunt elk, and I love to work with amazing clients in Montana as a real estate agent, and just the connections that I've built and the friendships, and just truly a special way of life, and I love to share it with people.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. So like we said, you are a fifth generation Montanan. You grew up in, I guess, the Missoula area of Montana. Tell us about that and tell us kind of what you learned from your family there and what you learned having 4 generations before you in this state.
Yeah, I've truly learned to appreciate and value just everything Montana has to offer, especially the people growing up here in the mountains, being an avid hunter, being raised by avid outdoorsmen, and just truly being surrounded by remarkable people, small town, rural roots that value good, honest humans, and just truly rolling up your sleeves and getting to work, not shying away from a challenge, not backing down, and just loving life and the people we do it with.
I love that. That's a really cool answer. So your brand, we kind of talked about a little bit. It's Stay Gritty. What exactly does that mean, and how did you land there? I also want to hear about the hats. How did you come up with the hat logo? And you can tell them more about that.
Yeah, so really, I don't know exactly how I landed there, but I just truly believe that grit and staying power are 2 defining characteristics. Mm-hmm. If you are willing to stay hooked in something long enough and you're willing to be tough enough and gritty enough to stick it out, you can truly do anything you set your mind to. And, you know, I prayed about it a lot. I've just honestly sought God through it and pray that God is glorified through it. And the people that I've got to meet through my social media is astounding and humbling. I truly have no words for the reach and where it has landed me. And I'm very, very thankful and hope that I can encourage people to get through the hard times and have fun while they do it and laugh and lean on God. Mm-hmm. And just no matter what your circumstances are, no matter what you're going through, that God is still good amidst the struggle. God is still there and ever present and just truly with us in the mess, in the grit, in the hard days.
It's beautiful. He sure is. Speaking of the grit and the mess, is there a certain moment in your life that you felt like your walk with God kind of shifted from something you had been taught about from your family or heard about through church or Sunday school to like, hey, this is now my faith, this is now real? I guess just an example of what you just described of I guess resilience is a good way of what you just said in a short term. Yeah,
so I would say, I was saved at a very young age. I knew about God. I knew that in some way I wanted to always love God and I believed in God, but truly when I was 19, I gave my life fully to Christ, and I had just exasperated every void that the world and culture tries to fill our hearts with. And I had tried it all and they were all empty. Mm-hmm. And just looking for achievement and success and being someone that is successful, but having that never be enough and having never nothing I would ever do would be enough until my identity was fully rooted in who Christ says I am. And when I truly, had a personal relationship with Christ, I was like about 19, and I've made a lot of mistakes since then and continue to grow and learn and be led. But I can always run back to Jesus, like time and time again. And that's the difference. Instead of running from him and trying to fill my heart and the ache in my heart with everything else or anything else, instead now he's the first one I run to. It's the first place I turn.
That's incredible. Man, if we would only do that every time, if we only realize nothing else is going to fill that void, fill that gap, heal our hearts, nothing else does it. And like you said, sometimes it takes exhausting every other avenue to be like, oh, it's always just been Jesus. It's only been Jesus. There's nothing else that's going to heal my heart. It's wild. Sometimes it takes figuring out the hard way, but that's kind of like every story and account in the Bible are people figuring out the hard way, especially the Old Testament. But really, anytime you read the Bible, you're like, okay, cool, I'm in good company.
Yes.
It's not just me that's had to figure it out the hard way. That's so good. Thank you for sharing that, Sam.
Yeah, thankfully, he's a God that, qualifies us. We don't have to come pre-qualified and earn it or, do anything. There's nothing that we could ever do. It's just freely given.
Thank God for that.
Amen.
Yeah, thank God for grace.
Yes.
Oh, man. Yeah, because along the way, I feel like if it was qualifications, I would be long gone, counted out.
Yes.
Long gone.
Yep.
So for those of you guys that don't know this, Sam and I have been friends kind of from social media for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to Montana, I hit her up and I was like, hey girl, I'm here. What's up? Let's be friends. And so when I decided to launch this podcast, I was like, I really would love to have Sam on because she's beautiful. Yeah, she's successful. Yeah, she's a true cowgirl that can actually ride so well and actually rodeos so well and teaches others. But beyond that, her heart for the Lord is just beautiful and amazing. And you do inspire so many people, girls and guys, but I think especially younger girls look up to you. And something she and I have related to and talked about a lot, and kind of like a place of my testimony, but even just more recently, is our dating life. I kind of sprung this on her last minute. This was not in my original questions, but I was like, do you think we can go there today? And she was like, yeah, let's go there today. And I was like, cool. Because I think a lot of the girls need to hear this stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess something we've talked about is just trusting God with our dating lives and surrendering what we can't control. And also, for those who can't already tell, we are both pretty strong-willed women in the sense of God has created women to be leaders in our own sense, in our own right. We won't get into all of that, but we both are leaders, within different. Anyways, we've related on it's hard to be patient for a man that can lead us from the Lord. So, what have you learned in this season of life from dating, or what do you think would be helpful in your wisdom to share with other girls that maybe have similar struggles to us?
Yeah, I think, oh my gosh, it's so hard, and it's a long game, and trusting God with it is a daily surrender of giving it back to him and just truly wanting his will and accepting that. And believing truly with all my heart that what God has for me won't pass me by.
That's right.
And, it's not having my identity be tied to that in any way, shape, or form is the most freeing thing that I've ever been able to do. And to just trust that he is a God that is so good and so loving and so patient that if I'm willing to wait for a man that loves God with all his heart, nothing else matters. Truly, I think we miss the most important things about people. And that's not just in dating. I think it's easy to look past in our society, in our culture, in our mindset, what truly matters at the core of who people are. And it's easy to be impressed by accolades and worldly success and achievement and looks and everything else that the world tells us matters, and none of it matters. Ultimately, someone's character and relationship with Christ is all that matters. And just trusting and surrendering that to God fully and knowing that people will walk away from you because of your relationship with God, because of your priorities. And that's truly protection. I think that like not viewing those people as God honestly just genuinely looking out for you and protecting you and loving you like the daughter that you are to him.
That's right.
Is where we get it wrong. And you know, we tie so much of our, like as women and wanting to be homemakers and have kids and kind of have it all, honestly.
Right. Right.
We tie so much of our worth to that. And if I never get married, it will not change my value before God. It won't change my relationship with God. It won't change the impact that I can make on the awesome girls that are in my life, the awesome girls that I mentor and coach and just have an absolute blast with. So I think the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. We all want what we don't have. And to just be so grateful for the opportunities that God has put in my life, truly, and not honestly idolize something that I don't have currently, is a kind of a reality check, you know, of like God checking my heart posture and making sure that my intentions are in the right place and that I am seeking him above all else.
That's right. I think there's a saying, it's like seeking God's face over his hand.
Yeah.
So like that is really tough.
I love that.
To like want just his presence in him more than any gift he could give us. I do believe with my whole heart that he's going to bless you with that.
I do too, honestly. But
I do. But like you said, that shouldn't be our main goal and intention. And at the end of the day, when we get to heaven and see him face to face, we're not going to be thinking about what we didn't get on earth.
Yeah.
Or like what dream wasn't fulfilled on earth, where you're going to be like, wow, like it's Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so like,
It's
how do we
you.
know that in heaven, nothing else will matter? And here we get so caught up in everything else mattering.
Right. Right.
You know, it's really, truly always only been him.
So good. Woo! This is good.
I
It's making me
know.
emotional. Yeah, I think something you said about just, the type of man that you're looking for and wanting and not being impressed by different things of the world, like that is huge. And I think something that I'm learning as I am in a relationship again for the first time in a long time is that like as women, it's hard, but we're called to do it, give space to lead, and like also give space for God to deal with that person. It's not our job to make a man into whatever we think or want. And it's also like a beautiful thing to sit back and have, like you said, your own identity in Jesus, your own walk with Christ, and be like, cool, that's your walk with Christ.
Amen.
And that's something that like God is going to transform in your heart.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not the Holy Spirit Junior. And like, that's hard.
That's
really hard.
Yeah, I mean,
It's really hard.
honestly, and that's not just in dating. That's in all of life, in every relationship dynamic. Not having expectations for other people. You know, we're responsible for ourselves, and we're going to be accountable to God for our own actions. And I think when you truly, when you want to help people, it's easy to think that we do the saving, but Jesus does the saving.
Right.
You know, it's our job to love people and to be bold in our testimony and bold in witness, but ultimately Jesus changes their hearts and Jesus does the work inside of other people.
So good. If we can only just remember that.
You know, it's like, there's no destination though. It's an everyday reminder to all of us, you know, of who God is refining us to be and growing us into, so that we do remember it quicker the next time.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Learning the lesson and then remembering it the next time.
Yeah.
That's huge. Okay, what else is, aside from what we talked about, or you can talk more on it, what else has God been teaching you in this season of life that you feel like it's been like a really big revelation, or like, wow, I never saw it that way, or Yeah,
I don't know that there's a big revelation or anything in my life right now, other than just being extremely grateful and present for all God has given me and the opportunities that God has for me right now and the doors that are opening. And I'm really excited about my girls' camp this summer. My Cowgirl camp is going to be amazing. It's going to be...
When is that?
It is June 15th through the 18th. And it's going to be just horse crazy barrel racers and Jesus. And we're going to have so many, cool worship sessions and awesome horses.
What are the age ranges, like people that can sign up? How many slots do you have left?
Yeah, so we're booking up. People from all over the country are definitely coming, which is crazy.
Incredible.
The age is 8+, ladies only.
When you say plus, like you mean like a 68-year-old?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't cut it off. I don't think, old, young, I mean, ladies are all welcome.
Is it BYOH? Bring your own
Yes,
horse?
it is bring your own horse.
Okay.
Yep. And,
and then where do you guys stay?
We're going to be camping.
Love that.
Yes, we're going to be camping and eat awesome food.
So
listen to good music, have some campfires.
Is there a website that people can go to sign up?
Yeah, so just reaching out to me, honestly, is the best way to sign up. Stay Gritty on Instagram, or my phone number, which you'll put in.
Yeah, of course. You can do
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I think.
I want to come. I might sign up.
You should come. You should totally come.
I'd probably get outrun by any 8-year-old, but that's okay because it'd be really fun.
It's okay. Those little kids will humble you fast.
Genuinely. There's some, your sister, she's not that little anymore, right? How
she's 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So little, but she's fast.
She is. It's funny. A lot of people, I don't want to say compare themselves to her, but they kind of do. It's easy to compare yourself to this little kid that is extremely talented and successful and on super good horses, but it's not like she's been trained for this since before she could walk. She was on the back of a horse, so it's not. Horses are definitely, we eat, breathe, sleep horses, and absolutely would not have it any other way.
And a little bit real estate, which is a good segue.
Yes.
Because I do want to hear more about the barrel racing community and what you've been doing and also learning. I guess we talked a little bit about your camp, but something else you eat, breathe, and sleep is real estate.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's funny. My horse business, before my family has income properties, and I grew up being very involved in real estate, purchasing my own properties, just the back end of it, honestly, before I became an agent, which really gave me such a cool skill set to come into it with. But also my horse business, was pivotal in setting me up for success because it's so similar. People do not understand the similarities of negotiating deals and just the whole aspect of it, feast or famine, being commission based. It truly, it made me have thick skin, going into real estate. I was prepared for how tough it was going to be. Yeah. Because of my horse business, and combining the two is absolutely my dream career. It fits me so well and has been so fun, making awesome connections and just working so hard and transferring the grit and the knowledge that I have from Montana and living here and just supplying that to people that are awesome. It's funny, as someone that's been here forever, it's hard. We get a lot of flack sometimes about newcomers, and we like to make our jokes. For sure, if you can't take a joke about being,
absolutely,
an implant, you probably it's gonna be rough. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here.
Just go ahead and go back.
Yeah. But it's such an amazing community of truly great people. But we just want our lifestyle embraced and our mindset and our mentality, and we want to have a safe, good, small town community where kids can grow up and, people can come here and have a different way of life that's not an option in big cities.
That's so good. I think that is what draws the right people to places like this. It's like you said, the hunting and the horses, those are my two favorite things in life too. Very different than yours because I haven't been around the rodeo arena my whole life like you have, but it's just special and sweet out here, and it is a way of life, and people are typically really welcoming to newcomers if they're humble and come from the right place. And I think that's huge. Humility and coming to a place that people have been here 5 and 6 generations is really big.
Yeah.
Instead of acting like you know everything when we don't, you got to be like, hey, would you teach me? Or would you show me?
Yeah.
I think that's really big.
Yeah, and then that's so cool. Like in the Western community and in our life, I think we miss that people have survived and thrived in communities
Exactly.
and thrives in tribes from the beginning.
Exactly.
And helping each other and helping your neighbor and being there at the drop of a hat
Yep.
for someone that needs something. That's who we are.
Yeah. I think that is like what I love about the West. It is like so communal.
Yeah.
There is so much history of that. Yeah, I think I love Native American history, especially. I like love to ask people questions. Obviously, here we are on a podcast where I'm doing it, but in real life, I do it too. And my boyfriend and I were out to eat, and I was asking him all these random questions that I felt like I knew the answers to, but I wanted to know in case I did it.
Yeah.
And I did ask him, like, okay, if you could live in any point of time, whatever. And my guess on his was wrong. I was like the Viking era, because like he's this big, tall redhead.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whatever, like how it looks like a Viking. And he's like, that would be cool, but no. And then he gave me another answer that made sense. But I was like, okay, what do you think mine is? And he guessed it right away. He's like the early Western days. And I'm like, dang, how'd you know? He's like, because you love Western and Native American history. And
Yeah.
like, it is so cool.
Yeah.
There's obviously so much we could get into on that, of like maybe how we could have done these a little better, but
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah. Obviously, there's hindsight's 2020 and mistakes were made, but I think, there's something of that that's romanticized that is also that's also missed in the romance of it, because
Right.
It is hard. It's a hard
people
way
die.
to live. And so I think that as a society and a culture and people in general, we are so soft and accustomed to everything being easy that it's it's easy to say. I mean, I love to say it too, like that I wanted to live then.
But could I have done it?
Right.
Like, if I didn't know what I know now, and that's all I knew, probably.
Yeah.
But if I came from like this instant gratification, comfort
Yeah.
generation that I live in, where I turn on my car and there's heat,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could. Don't know if I could.
Yeah.
That's actually so real.
Yeah, no, I mean, we like to think we're tough, but, like, are we that tough?
You know what makes me feel not tough is when I go backcountry hunting and
Yeah.
camping, and I'm like, oh, there's no showers, and there's something beautiful about sleeping on the ground, though.
Yeah.
And there's something so beautiful about packing in on horses, and man, it's cool, and I wish everyone could experience it, especially people that are anti-hunting, because they have misinformation or have been fed a lie that it's cruel, or that, hunting makes you a bad person, inhumane, you don't have compassion for the animals. You can speak to this probably more than anyone, since you've been doing it for so long, and also your family has been. But the people that give us that name, the trophy hunters, the people that are not hunting for meat, the people that are hunting for a game or because they are like trying to injure an animal, like they should not ever have a hunting license. Like that's not the real hunters that we know. That's not how we hunt. Yeah, there's something much different about when you respect the land, you respect the animal, you're doing it as a way of life to provide for your family. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. It's just an entitled mentality, point blank, to think that we can be here and not have something die. Wherever you get your food from, whether it's from a grocery store, like if you're disconnected from the fact that an animal has to die for you to eat, that's not my fault, right? Like it's just the way it is. Like something has to die for your home to be built. And so, to pretend, and that's exactly what's wrong with our culture. We lie and we pretend. If we push this away and I don't have to look at it because it's hard or painful, then I can just pretend it doesn't have to happen. And that's just a lie. And so, hunting is truly, like, you wouldn't be here if someone hadn't hunted to keep your family alive.
correct.
And so to have that respect and the love of being outside in nature and the privilege and the honor to put that much pressure on oneself to take an ethical shot and to be someone that wants to do right? Like, mistakes are made and bad news travels way faster than good. We never hear about all the beautiful, good, amazing experiences and stories. We talk about all the bad things, and that's not just hunting, that's life in general. People love to complain. We talk about the dumb annoying, trivial things instead of the most important things that are of depth and shape us into the people that we need to be. And being a hunter is probably hands down one of the most life-changing things that has made me who I am. Being raised in the backcountry, literally since I was 2 years old, like before I was 2 years old, since I was a baby, I've been on the back of the horse in the mountains, killing elk, just embracing all of it, and in an awesome family that has so many, like, hunting. I've never been on a family vacation that wasn't hunting. That's the honest to God truth.
That's amazing.
Never one time in my life.
That's amazing.
We didn't do anything else. It was, we were either at a rodeo or we were hunting.
Whenever man marries into your family will be the most blessed man in our entire world, country, state of Montana. And I'm going to put that on record right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be watching this one day and he'll be like, you know what, you're right.
Exactly.
That's an incredible way to vacation.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, no. And so, just putting pressure on yourself is how we learn. It's how we grow. It's how we rise to the occasion. If you're not asking more of yourself and asking physically, mentally, spiritually, trying to step up and apply pressure in the training window, then you don't rise to the occasion, right? Like, we all want to pretend that we will rise to the occasion, but we don't. We fall back on our training. And
what's it, like, what is habit to us?
Right. What is habit to you?
Wow.
Is it doing hard things and digging deep and going the extra mile when it feels like you can't go any further? Some of the greatest moments of my life and the moments with my dad or my mom or people that I love came from being in the hills, being freezing cold, absolutely miserable.
Toes are numb.
Yeah.
You feel like they're about to fall off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
Can't feel your nose.
Yeah. Yeah, I was 13 years old and I drew a mountain goat tag in Montana. And it's my brother. It's one of the most amazing hunts of my life. I was with my brother and my dad. And it was the weather. We were at 10,000 feet. The weather came in quick. It was Arctic. It was freezing and I was cold and I'm a little girl. I'm 13 years old.
Yeah.
And, I made an awesome shot and my dad was so proud of me. Well, our horses, we've always hunted on horses and, our horses are down below. So we go and get our horses and get to the goat. Well, we're gonna keep it and keep the hide because I want to mount it. And I'm holding a leg and my dad's just going to work. Well, my dad looks up and I'm like, I'm cold, Dad. And my lips are blue. And he's like, you're gonna go get hiking up this mountain right now and you're gonna stop till you're warm. And, I was freezing. That's just what I grew up with. Literally all my life,
Oh, you're cold here. Instead of here's a blanket or hand warmer, you're just going to go hike until you're warm.
Yeah, and I mean, there was no other option, right?
Yeah, that's real.
I had to get warm, and we're a long ways in the backcountry, and, so I think just, truly I'm so grateful for the experiences that I've had with my family and because those set you up for the hard things in life, right? You're ready for whatever comes next, and just knowing that you're capable of doing hard things and you're gonna be okay. You can get through it.
So good. That was all so good. I cannot wait to listen back to this and also play it for myself every day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly,
This is so good.
I tell myself these things most days too. It's not I'm in my own.
This is new news.
Yeah, I'm in my own ear. Okay, Sam, you got to dig deep and keep going. So it's not I never want somebody to think that I have made it or I'm further, figuring it all out. It's a journey and it's every day, just digging deeper and deeper into your soul to find a new level.
So good. This is my last question, which is sad because I literally could talk to you for 9 hours straight. But, and I kind of am going to historically end every podcast with the same question because I think it's a good question and interesting to hear people's different perspectives. But if you could go back in any given age of yourself and look yourself in the eyes and give yourself one piece of advice from what you know now, when would you have done it, and what would you say to yourself?
Oh boy. I think I would probably go back to about 14. Middle school, sometimes like early, I don't know, those teenage years are rough.
Yeah, they are.
And I would truly tell myself to wait for marriage. That would be, I think, that would save me so much heartbreak, and it would have a lot of wasted time, honestly. Yeah. It would have got rid of a lot of people that didn't have my best interest and didn't want to glorify God in dating and pursuing me. And I wouldn't just tell myself that, I would actually do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just don't care what anyone thinks of you. Go for it, honestly. Like, have fun and love your life and do something you love and work hard. And don't care what anyone thinks of you. Like, truly, just to be free from worrying about what anyone has to say or what anyone might think, and just, like, crippling yourself down from the fear and the opinions of other people.
Yeah, that's I always think about when we, like, let the weight of other people's opinions, it's like we're dragging this big weight with this chain connected to our leg. Like, it's a heavy weight.
Yeah.
And it also slows us down from going places that we could be much faster if we didn't care.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, just not caring and being like, this is how God made me. This is my desire. This is my dream. This is my purpose. These are my gifts. Like, I'm going for it without the weight of other people's opinions dragging along behind us. Like, yeah, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Sam, thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been, like, amazing for me, and I needed to hear every bit of the wisdom that you shared, and I really will go back and listen to this probably often to remind myself.
Me too. No.
No, this is so good. Thank you so much. And for everyone that wants to go follow her, she's stay_gritty_. Yeah. Stay_. And I'll put it in the comments as well on YouTube and Spotify, so you can have that there, as well as the barrel racing camp for this summer in June.
Yes,
I'll put
I'm
that
so
info
excited.
as well.
Awesome.
But thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yay. That was so good.